Is there a human being on this earth who has made more confident picks and been wrong this year than me? I might get Clown of the Year award, and I deserve it. I'm Bozo. Hi, kids! Anyway, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome to my Week 16 NFL reactions. As always, I gotta smack you guys with a plug before we start, so don't forget to use code WyattzWorld at sign up on Prize Picks to guarantee yourself to win a free $50 with your first $5 entry. By the way, they haven't announced anything yet for a free square on Christmas, but they do nearly every year, so keep an eye out for that. However, as always, at the end of the day, please remember to play responsibly, and let's get into the video. Okay, so kicking off, we have Thursday Night Football, where we saw the Seahawks defeat the Rams by probably the most ridiculous two-point conversion I've ever seen to date. I still don't really know what even happened. Sam Darnold threw an incompletion that rolled into the end zone and was recovered by a Seahawk, but since it was technically a backward pass, it was a fumble, and then nobody knew it was, and it was a shit show. That wasn't the ending play of the game, but I think it was the defining turning point of the game, and it's sad to see because Matt Stafford threw for 450 and 3 touchdowns. Puka caught for 225 and 2 touchdowns. I played him in JSN in fantasy. Guess he was eliminated. The defense was disruptive, you know, outside of letting up points, but they come up short because, like I said, I feel like that was a monumental turning point. Sam Darnold, I mean, he had 2 touchdowns, but also 2 picks. He wasn't the greatest. He did kind of turn it up at the end, though. Kenneth Walker, he had a nice run for a touchdown. I'm sure that pissed off Mike McDonald. JSN, good day as usual. Seattle defense, not able to get a sack, an interception, a fumble, anything. And yet they're the team that comes out on top. What a wild, bizarre start to the week. Now we had the Eagles beating the Commanders. From what I saw of this game, it was a snooze fest until the fourth quarter, which is exactly what the box score would show as well. Really didn't see much because I didn't care much. Saquon had a good game, 100 rushing yards, a touchdown. Jalen was extremely accurate, 2 passing touchdowns. Receiving was led by A.J. Brown, and Jake Elliott is currently wanted in Philadelphia for fraud. As far as the Commanders go, Mariota was injured, then Josh Johnson replaced him. I can't believe he's still in the league, to be honest. Rushing was led by Chris Rodriguez, who had a touchdown, as well as Bill, and defense was led by Jonathan Jones, and sacks coming from Bobby Wagner and Jacob Martin. I really don't know what to think about the Philadelphia Bills game coming up here. I'm just befuddled. I don't know who to pick. Now we had the Packers losing to the Bears. Jordan Love had a concussion, was replaced by Malik Willis, who lit it up, 9 for 11. That's a bad number. 121 yards, 1 touchdown, almost a perfect passer rating. Josh Jacobs, sadly playing through an injury, didn't do much, but Emmanuel Wilson did okay on the ground, 82 yards. Dobbs had a touchdown as well as a very nice catch that I saw. And Brandon McManus is basically the MVP of the game for Green Bay, kicking 10 of the points that they got and kept them in the game. Looking at the resilient Bears here, Caleb Williams might have had a slow start, had a phenomenal finish to the game, had one of the craziest fucking touchdown passes I've ever seen to put him into OT, where he would then connect with DJ Moore and walk off the game. Running didn't do as much as I thought, however, they were productive with the absence of Micah Parsons. And shout out to Santos as well, kicking 10 points for Chicago, allowing them to fight back into the game and get them into overtime for Caleb to win it. Said this on Twitter and I mean it, good Chicago Bears are good for the NFL. Now we have the Chargers knocking off Dallas. I literally did not see a single play of this game. Looks like Herbert was surgical though, 23 for 29, 300, 2 touchdowns. Hampton had a very productive day on the ground, so did Justin Herbert. Quentin Johnson had 4 for 104 and a touchdown. Ladd scored the other one. And as quiet as the defense might have seemed, holding Dallas to 17, well, that's an accolade of its own. Looking at Dallas here, Dak was also accurate. 2 more touchdowns, good passer rating, was at one point replaced for Joe Milton. I'm not sure why. Running for Dallas was lousy. Pickens did bounce back, 7 for 130 and a touchdown. And I know he got injured this game, but Ryan Flournoy got a touchdown, and shout out to him in general. He has been like unbelievably productive this year. The guy's hauled in 39 out of 49 targets for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. What more can you ask? That'll bring us to the Vikings beating the Giants in a 16-13 snooze fest. Some highlights, well, not necessarily highlights, but things to go over this game. J.J. McCarthy got hurt again. Vikings defense had 5 sacks and an interception. Will Reichard won us the game. And Jackson Dart threw on one of probably the most generational stinkers I've ever witnessed, like, live. He only threw 13 passes, but he had 33 yards for a fucking pick and a passer rating of 27.4. I mean, the Giants offense was carried by the run, carried by their kicker, and their team in general was carried by Tyler Nubin and Brian Burns after he murdered J.J. McCarthy and it was recovered for a fumble 6. That sucked. It didn't feel like a win. Now we have the Bengals whopping the Dolphins. Joe Burrow threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Almost a perfect passer rating on him. Chase Brown had a touchdown. P. Ryan had a touchdown. Jamar Chase had 109 yards. Chase Brown also had 2 receiving touchdowns. Holy fuck. T had a touchdown. Mike Gesicki had a touchdown. The defense forced 2 fumbles. Holy shit. They also had 2 picks. What the fuck happened here? And Evan McPherson kicked him 9 points. Fucking A, looking at Quinn Ewers, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks. One of them I did see wasn't his fault. Achan again carries the offense as always, this time complimented by Jalen Wright and Malik Washington. Jalen Waddle led the team in receiving at 72 yards, and their defense was able to come up with 2 sacks on Joe Burrow. Now we have the Panthers knocking off the Bucs. Wow, I was wrong on this as well as many others this week. Dude, Bryce Young was throwing dots. I saw he had a beautiful pass to Coker. I saw one of his touchdown passes. Running game was actually lousy, but they can afford to have that when the rest of their offense is on fire. And I mean, it wasn't even really that much yardage, but more so the beauty of execution there. Glancing at the Bucs here, Baker's had kind of a meltdown here this last half. 145, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, took 2 sacks. Bucky Irving struggled for 71 yards. Sean Tucker stole another touchdown. Evans had a touchdown and 31 yards, and the Tampa defense was led by Levante David, who, keep in mind, was drafted into the NFL when I was a sophomore in high school. I've been out of high school for 11 years. Now we have the Jets getting decimated by the Saints. Thing about Tyler Shuck, I just want to say it off the bat, this guy will fuck around and win you some games. So if they want a good draft pick, they're not doing themselves favors right now. I mean, the guy threw for 300 yards and a touchdown. Taysom Hill also threw for a touchdown. Both went to Olave, who had almost 150 yards. Juwan Johnson had a mega day as well, 8 for 89. And if my eyes are not deceiving me, the defense for New Orleans had 8 sacks, as well as a kicker that kicked them 17 points. What the fuck went on there? Looking at the Jets, I'm good. I'm good. Next. Now we got the Bills beating the Browns, escaping the Browns, I should say. Why can't they play the Browns? It's never easy versus the Browns. It's never easy in general. This was 2.5 hours of James Cook running the ball down their throat, essentially. And that's the only good part about this game that I can remember. Other than the defense from Buffalo, their offense just stunk. Like, honestly, dude, I couldn't think of a better time for Groot to show up. 2.5 sacks in a game where our offense was falling flat on their face outside of literally 1 person. Jordan Poyer, also huge game from him, led the team in defense, had half a sack, a pick. Daquan Jones had a pick. And also, we might be on pace to break the record for most kickers in a year. This is our 3rd one. Realistically, I know there's teams that have more. That's still fucking ridiculous. As far as Cleveland went, Shedeur, 20 for 29. He was accurate, turned the ball over a few times. Rushing was led by Shedeur Sanders. Shockingly, I think Buffalo's run defense was very good. Hopefully they can repeat that against Saquon. Receiving, I think the highlight was Harold Fannin scoring like almost immediately in the game. He's had a great year and it makes me so happy because he was my boy. I can gladly share with you guys, Myles Garrett did not break the record under the account that Josh Allen was not going to let that happen. Josh Allen was ready to run to the fucking crowd if it meant not kicking a sack from him. I mean, he did take half of one, but still. And also, Devin Bush, quietly just having a good year. Thank you, Buffalo, for beating Cleveland, but I am not very convinced that we're going to beat Philly. Now we have the Chiefs getting destroyed by the Titans. I knew I should have picked the Titans. I said I should have picked the fucking Titans. Crazy thing about this game is back-to-back weeks now, Gardner Minshew has torn his ACL. Look, man, when I said I wanted the Chiefs to burn, I didn't mean it literally. I mean, this team got annihilated. They didn't do shit outside of Harrison Butker and their defense getting, 4 sacks? As far as Cam Ward goes, he was surgical. 21 for 28, 222 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, another 100-point rushing game. He's gonna get 1,000 yards on the season. What the fuck? Tajay Spears had a touchdown. Receiving touchdowns went to my boy Cheeg and my other boy I can't say that. And defense was led by James Williams, having 8 tackles and a sack. Tennessee, good for you. Honestly, I'm trying to back you guys up. I see it. I see it in you guys. You are progressively getting better every week. I don't care if you played an injured team. You are getting better. Now we have the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Broncos. I should have picked the fucking Jags. Tua, another wonderful performance. 3 touchdowns, great rating, 279 yards. Also took 5 sacks in the process. Running was a little bit lousy. Tua actually having the only rushing touchdown. However, receiving was lit up by Parker Washington, lit up by Brenton Strain, kind of lit up by Jacoby. I mean, Parker Washington had 10 targets, for fuck's sake. And on top of it all, they had Cam Little being responsible for 10 of the points being perfect on the day. The Broncos side of things, Bo, I don't think he played bad, really. 252, a touchdown, he had a pick. There was a muffed handoff I saw too. I don't know whose fault that was. Regardless, Harvey got a touchdown. Sutton had 6 receptions for 86 yards and a score. Harvey had a big day through the air, 71 yards. And defensively getting 5 sacks on Trevor is an accomplishment, but the one thing you didn't force Trevor to do, which is something he hasn't been doing lately, which is stunning to me, is a turnover. When he is not Trevor Winston or Jameis Lawrence, whatever you want to call him, the Jags, they're a good team, but I don't dare say that out loud because now they're going to look like shit. Now moving on, we have the Cardinals losing to the Falcons. I was so sure they were going to win this game, but in reality, Kirk Cousins has just been playing better football. Kyle Pitts still being a major factor in the team, 57 yards and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson getting 92 and a touchdown out of 11 targets. Drake London spent majority of the game playing pocket pool in the corner. Looking at the Cardinals here, Obi-Wan Jacoby finally cracked down a little bit, although he still threw for 200. Rushing was led by Michael Carter. Receiving was led by Elijah Higgins this week. I swear Jacoby Brissett just draws names out of a fucking hat. Michael Wilson had a touchdown, however. Rest of the points came from Chad Ryland, and yeah, their defense, like you could probably imagine, just got kind of torched. I mean, if you're only able to get to Kirk Cousins one time in 2025, you got a lot of fucking issues going on there, man. I love Kirko, but you get that man in a collapsing pocket, he literally collapses faster than the fucking pocket does. Moving on now, we have the Raiders for some reason having a close game with the Texans. I mean, Geno kind of had a good game, still had a turnover, but 2 touchdowns. One to Genty, who led the team in receiving, the other to Bowers. Genty also led the team in rushing, 128 yards and a touchdown. You know some sorry son of a bitch had to play him in fantasy this week and got booted because of it. Defense didn't appear to mark a single tally, and Daniel Carlson did not attempt a single field goal. As far as the Texans go, CJ, from the little bit I saw, looked kind of mid. Did throw a passing touchdown to Dalton Schultz, though. Nico led the team in receiving, 4 for 59. Rushing was pretty eventless. Fairbairn kicked him 11 points, and defensively the sacks came from, well, the Brothers of Destruction, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, while Derek Stingley Jr. had an interception and a forced fumble. Goodness gracious. And now we have the Steelers beating the Lions in a game that is very controversial and people have a reason to be very upset about it. So for those who missed it, essentially Goff tried to throw, a walk-off touchdown to St. Brown, who got the ball but wasn't going to score, so he lateraled it back to Goff, who then ran in and did like a fucking front flip into the end zone, only for the refs to talk for several minutes and then come out and start off by saying it was a touchdown, but then to go, but there was offensive pass interference on St. Brown. So then he had to retract again and go, so there is no touchdown and the game is over. It didn't even sound like he knew what the fuck he wanted to say, really. I know that the argument, oh, it was OPI. Everybody in the fucking internet is all of a sudden an absolute analyst. When something like this happens, maybe it was whatever. I know for a fact I saw St. Brown getting held earlier, not shit was called. I mean, Jalen Warren had a phenomenal game. So did Kenneth Gainwell. He's had a very underrated season in general. DK Metcalf punched a fucking fan in the face. I forgot to mention that. Obviously, there's 2 stories. The fan said that he called DK by his real name. DK saying there was some racial stuff thrown around. We'll never know the truth. As far as the Lions go, I feel terrible for Goff. He just played out of his mind. Receiving was led by Jamison Williams. Gibbs had a touchdown. Raymond had a touchdown. Tesla had a touchdown. Hutch had 2 sacks. There was a forced fumble, a fumble recovered. Their kicker was perfect and they still fucking lost. It just sucks because, I mean, that would have been one of the greatest plays ever. And ending, we have Drake May beating the Ravens. Drake May really said, hey, you guys think I can't throw for 300? Okay, I'll almost hit 4 then. Fucking 380, 2 touchdowns. One of his touchdowns at the end was just ridiculous. Just dropped it right in the basket. Ramondre Stevenson, I think, was a very good runner all game, despite only having 51 yards. Diggs dominated 138 yards. Patriots forced 2 fumbles. They recovered them both. And Borregales was perfect, kicking 8 points. In terms of the Ravens, Lamar was injured and replaced by Huntley. Neither of them did anything. Eric Henry carried the offense for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Zay Flowers made a nice play. He also made a boneheaded, costly play. Ravens defense also had a boatload of sacks, a boatload of fumbles. But when they were stuck with Huntley the last half or whatever, you need to be running the ball. And like John Harbaugh even said after the game, yeah, Henry should have been out there. But they decided to try and play out their comfort zone and, well, paid the price for that one. Thanks a lot, assholes. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for my Week 16 NFL reaction. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please show support because you know I appreciate it. But in the meantime, I'm going to get this whipped up so you guys can hopefully watch it on Monday. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy holiday break for those who are now on it. And I will see you in the next upload.